They say you don't become a witch. That it's just one day you wake up and realize that's what you've always been. The one that doesn't always fit in. The one that likes the woods, the sun and sky, cats, owls, and the moon. The one who stays up late reading books, playing role-playing games, and learning the names of the stars. The one that likes to wear black eyeliner, capes. And then you realize, oh, that's what I am. I'm a witch.
I'm so excited to be here. Hey, Lola, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I am wonderful and so excited for the next Seekers class. Welcome, everybody, to the Seekers class that we are doing together with Lady Lola Stardust from Covenant of the Crossroads.
Children of the Crossroads.
Children of the Crossroads in Spokane, Washington.
You'll get it. So people know there's a Crossroads of the Coven, or wait.
There's Covenant of the Crossroads in Africa.
In Africa, yes.
Yes.
And
and there's Children of the Crossroads here. And it's just, yes. So, and anyway, it's a popular name. It's a good name, Lola. That's the one the goddess likes. They're at the Crossroads.
The Crossroads.
She sure does. So I'm so excited to be here today to share about the next lesson for the Seekers class, and it is on protection. But before we get started, I want to let everybody know that it is May 1st. Happy Beltane. Happy Beltane. Happy May Day. Yay. Yay. There's a wonderful song about this one that I love, and it is about things that you do outside on Beltane. So those of you who know, and those of you who don't, look it up. Things to do outside on Beltane without your clothes on. Yes. There you go. Mm-hmm. You get 5 guesses, and the first ones don't count.
Yeah.
And that's my favorite song. I love it. It's so much fun. It's so much witchcraft. You know, witchcraft is a different culture. And so we have these classes so that people that are drawn to our path can decide if this is the one for them. And so this is produced by the Aquarian Tabernacle Church. I'm Lady Belladonna Laveau. I am the matriarch and archpriestess of the Aquarian Tabernacle Church. Lady Lola here is a graduate of the Wilsonstein Theological Seminary, to which I am also. I am the founder of that school. And she is now an affiliate leader of her own coven in Spokane, Washington, representing the Aquarian Tabernacle Church and the goddess out there. Good job, Lola, doing great things. We are so proud of you. Yep. And so if you want to learn more, you can always go to wiccanseminary.edu to learn more. And please feel free to ask questions and comment and contribute to the conversation, because we can see your comments and we're happy to interact with you. So the way this works is there's a card, right, Lola? There's this whole card. There's 52 of them. There's one for every day of the week, every week of the
year. Yeah. And what we do is we show the graphic, and it kind of it will provoke conversation. It'll provoke discussion. Whether it's some of the cards are spot on with what you would think it would look like, and some are going to be a little different, but that's the whole point. We all have a different way of looking at witchcraft, and these images are just one of the millions of different ways to look at these topics. So do you want us to bring the image up now? Should we do that?
Sure, let's do it. Let's bring it up.
There it is.
Ooh, protection.
I really like this one. I like the colors. And the first thing that I always notice is that third eye up there. Yeah, the third eye.
Yeah, the third eye is open. And I noticed the heart as well.
Yeah. And I think that Why would you think? See, so like in our discussions that we actually have the artist who made the images come in and kind of tell us what she was thinking. So that's why I'm going to lead you on this little journey, because it's really good to have this conversation. Why is the third eye important, do you think, in having protection, Bella, or anyone in the audience? What does that mean to you?
Well, the third eye is you need it to be able to see what's happening on the other side. You need it to be aware of the different layers of the unseen that might be happy and benevolent or not so much.
Yeah, I mean, if you look, she's got those ghosts all around her, which I think they're adorable, and a lot of us witches like ghosts. But we talked about this with I think last week with Ritual, or not Ritual, I can't remember, but
yeah, Ritual was last week.
Yeah, we talked about something where you need to create a safe space, because we do have a lot of different things wanting to come in and peek into our rituals, and protection is a big part of that.
So Kaylee Kirby says shielding is what it speaks to me. Alana Hamilton says the third eye catches what the physical ones miss.
Oh yeah.
And Brenna,
I said that's awesome. I like that.
Yes, absolutely. And Brenna Grace says, I feel the third eye is the art. I feel like the third eye in the art denotes specifically psychic protection aspects of protection, being aware of your surroundings.
Yeah. We have to psychically protect ourselves quite a bit, huh?
Well, you don't always know what is causing you problems. And sometimes when you're doing witchcraft, there will be energies from other people, from things that you just can't see, from maybe even ground spirits in an area. Maybe somebody died there and they're haunting it. There's all of these different things that can cause you a reaction, and you will have a mood swing that doesn't really make sense to you or the people that are enjoying your company at the time. To be able to protect yourself from that.
Have you ever met any witches that, because I have, that don't feel they need that protection? I think like chaos magicians might set it up a little differently. But have you ever talked to someone that's like, I don't really need the protection, and then they always come back later and go, holy crap, I needed protection?
Well, I think people go into paganism and witchcraft and fairy faith and kindred and all of these pagan traditions with the idea that it's all of the people there are just going to be loving and happy and love and light.
Fluffy bunny.
So they're putting out love and light, and they don't feel like they need to shield because they want to perceive. They want to know what's out there. They don't want to shield the unseen. They're trying to perceive the unseen, and they don't really want to shield from it. And so I think a lot of times people don't really realize that you can filter, you can modulate, you can program your shields to where you can still perceive while protecting yourselves against the things that you don't want. Just like you can feel when somebody touches you, but you know that doesn't mean that they're going to touch you all the way to the bone. There's perception that goes along with shields.
Well, I think also it's like you said, you don't know if it's going to be ground spirits. You don't know if it's going to be, something from, just energetically. It doesn't even have energy. I mean, energy is powerful. And when we're opening ourselves up to that energy, we have to I don't like to say have to. It is suggested and highly recommended that you put some sort of shield or protection around you, because that's a lot of energy. I mean, I don't know about you, but even in my mundane world, if I go to like a Walmart or a place that I know is going to aggravate me, like the mall or whatever, I do a little thing in the car, and I put a little bubble or a shield, because I know that I'm not going to go to Walmart and I'm going to have like, oh, ghosts. I really don't think so. But people's energy is strong.
Well, when you're learning, it's kind of fun to perceive other people's energy, but it's not really recommended because you get distracted, and there's too much chaos, like you said. It's overstimulation. So the work when you're new, you want to experience this. Oh my gosh, I think I'm experiencing something magical. I think I touched deity. I think I'm experiencing something that is very spiritual and deep, and I want more of it. But protection allows you to have that in a way that is when you're ready for it, not in the middle of Walmart, because otherwise you can be overstimulated and you can end up opening yourself up too fast. You can end up letting things in that aren't good for you. One time I saw, do you like those ghost shows, Lola, where they're like talking to ghosts and they're trying to figure out, okay, well, there's one where the guy's, he's really good looking, but he's also super disrespectful. And the other guys are like, hey, stop being so disrespectful. And he's like, am I being disrespectful? Like, he don't even realize he's just provoking the ghosts.
Yeah.
And I watch him and I'm like, oh man, you really shouldn't piss off the ghosts because, I don't know if you can, but sometimes I can see the apparitions actually in the pictures. And this one time you saw this light go right into his mouth.
Oh, geez. Yeah.
And he freaked out.
You think?
They slowed it down and they showed it in the picture because they caught it in the picture. And they showed how he went from his normal behavior to not his normal behavior. And so I thought that was a textbook example of why you want to have good shields and know how to use them, be able to put them up in an instant. Because, really, when you're in danger, you need them right away. And then always have a modulated shield.
I like how you said it's a filter, because I think that's important, because we do, you like you said, you don't want to block yourself off completely. How would that be a good way to do that balance? What do we do, like, when we are in ritual or we're doing magic? What's a good way to call in that filtered kind of shield or whatnot?
Well, see, this is when I defer to the Dusty Dion method of magic. And that is everything that you can imagine, you can do magic. So you just imagine what kind of shield you want and the different properties that it wants. And you just tell it, this is how you operate. You let all the love and prosperity and goodwill come in, and anybody who has ill intent or who is trying to manipulate me for self-serving properties or has the intent of harming the church or the people here, don't let them in. Energies, people, ideas, whatever, and just modulate your shields. I just had a hernia surgery, and they had to replace the mesh. I was one of those people that had the failed mesh hernia surgeries. Yeah. So they have replaced the mesh, and I programmed the mesh magically, right?
Yeah.
Because I now have this thing in me, so I have the opportunity to program it to do specific things. And your will chakra is where your shields come from. So you start with this little will chakra, right? And then you go boom, and you make a shield out of it. And so I need mine to be modulated to work with my energy. And I think that is part of magic. When you're thinking about the different layers of magic, all of the things that happen to you are sacred.
Do you think that because this is what I also like to talk about too as our protection. I think that our intuition is our protection. I mean, when you have that gut feeling, when you, because you're talking about your gut, right? But I also feel that there's things that we already do where we don't even have to set it. It just is in our body. Our body will react when something is not right. You know what I mean?
Yep.
My intuition has protected me from a lot of things.
Absolutely. We had a girl here this weekend who went, I suddenly feel like I have to go home. And we were like, get the heck out of here, you
Yeah.
know? And she said, I've got a couple things I need to do and I feel safe doing that. And then I'm going to split. And, you know, we supported her because that's how your witchcraft works. You
Yep.
have to also be in an environment where people understand that that's how it's going to be, you know,
Yeah.
because I've done that too. I've been like, oh my goodness, I'm at the grocery store. I feel like I need to go home right now. And I got home just in time to get the phone to find out that my kid was sick and I had to go pick him up at school, you know.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Those are very important. And don't you really, I mean, I kick myself when I have those premonitions and I don't respect
Oh,
them.
gosh. All the time. Yes.
I worked so hard for this power and then I ignore it. Jeez.
It's happened, yeah, a lot. And that's when that's when you reflect back and go, I just need to trust my gut. I need to trust my intuition. But I also think that sometimes within that, not trusting your gut or your intuition or your self-preservation or protection, if you can get a lesson out of that, then that's awesome too. Because sometimes the goddess leads us down where, yeah, you could have protected yourself from that. But look what happened. Now, what lesson did you get out of that? What did you learn? Did you learn to listen to your intuition more? Did you learn that, I can interact with people like that to a certain level? Like, what did you learn? And so, it has its flip side too. Dusty put something in the comments I thought was cool. What was that? He says, you can manipulate the world on a quantum level with your thoughts and intentions. That means magic works, and all you need to do is focus your intent. Absolutely. Yeah.
100%. And you know, there's a bit of picking your battles too.
Oh,
Right?
yes.
Like you can let your shields down and fight everything on the planet when you get tired. Or you can pick the battles that you want that are going to help you get towards your goal because ultimately, you know, we all have something that we want to do. And I find it, you know, go ghost hunting to find out who's there is fun. But,
Mhm.
you know, if you go ghost hunting just to get rid of them and send them over to the other side, I don't know. Sometimes that's not always your battle, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Pick your battles. If a ghost comes in your house, you know, that might be the time.
Yeah.
But some you don't always know what's going on, and sometimes you shouldn't mess with the things that you don't know anything about.
Yes.
And that's also protection.
It is.
Curiosity killed the cat. I had
Ignorance is bliss.
It really is. Well, I had a friend that went over to a graveyard and she was like, oh, y'all are all lonely and sad. Y'all can all come over here with me. And then I had to go and get all these ghosts out of her house and send them back to the graveyard. And,
Holy
you know, that wasn't as much fun as she thought that was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Practicality.
Yeah.
Don't be going all loosey on us out there and making,
Well, and also,
crazy choices.
protection can, so this is an interesting story. One of my old teachers told me, because when I was younger, I used to walk in a bad part of town. I was like in my 20s. I was very young, this was in the 90s, and I would walk in bad parts of town because I wasn't the brightest person, but we won't talk about that. But I am so lucky, and I don't know if it's luck or if I had some major shields up because I wasn't as nuanced in my witchcraft yet. I was still learning a lot of it, but I I've been told that I had guides that protected me because I never got bothered with. Never. And I was walking amongst some real, shady types that could have even harassed me. Not, I'm not going to go to the automatic thing where, you know, they would kill me, but even being harassed never was. I don't know if it was because I had got those protectors watching over me. I'd like to think that, because I think a lot of us have similar stories where we maybe shouldn't be here, or maybe something worse should have happened. And when you look back, you're like, there's no way I could have gotten through that without some sort of protection. Do you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And Namir brought up a really cool thing. She said she appreciates us talking about protection on Beltane. You know, protection from things that you don't want to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Protection can come in a lot of different ways.
Yeah.
And protecting yourself from unwanted pregnancies, from STDs, from having a, in Beltane, a lot of people practice Beltane in different ways.
Yeah.
And all of those ways are sacred. And you need to think about your future when you make choices. Sometimes we get really excited in the moment.
Yeah.
And we take risks.
Yes, we do.
Then we regret those choices.
Well, and also we have to have some sort of protection for unwanted, because there's a lot of people who have misconceptions that every witch during Beltane is going to be a frisky witch, and it's okay to, and you do need that protection. Like, hey, these are my boundaries. Boundaries. There you go. Boundaries are a wonderful protection that we use in our everyday life.
And body language is a part of that. You know, if you stand tall and firm, and you don't, look somebody in the eye and smile at them, they probably won't think that you want them to approach you. You know, there are ways to call people in, and there are ways to stand in your power and not. And yes, rejection is protection. Rejection is protection is something that I really love, because you forget that not everybody's like you, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes we just want everybody to come on in and be a part of stuff, and then they aren't like you, and then you find out later that they're not like you. Let people go if they don't want, if their path is not your path, that is okay. They can love them from over here, right?
Yeah, I like how I like, and this is the thing we do with these topics. We're diving into, there's so many different ways to look at protection in our craft, and in our craft crosses over with our mundane life all the time. So it's important to talk about these things. But I want to bring up, there's something that we do.
Uh-oh.
We do as witches, that
we do as witches.
that has the word protection in it. Do you know what I'm
cast the circle?
Yes, that section, it actually says a rampart, or a guardian and a protection to preserve and contain the power that we shall raise herein. So it's part of our vocabulary and what we do in circle. That is important.
Well, and purifying and protecting is the word. Protecting the circle and protecting the body. It's the same thing. When you set up the circle, you're really pulling out the parts so that you can see what the whole is doing.
Yeah.
And so that you can learn from it. And that's definitely a part of it. And when I was back to, just for one moment, rejection is protection. A lot of times when you're in seeker mode, you are checking out other groups, and you might go somewhere where you feel like those people don't like you. That is protection. Those people are not your people.
No.
You want to go to where you feel like people like you and you like them, and that is a good feeling. And you also want to know what they're doing, because you want to know that they're worshiping the same way that you want to worship.
Yeah.
Not everybody is the same, and that is okay. Your people are out there.
how do you feel about using, because, there's a lot of witches out there, and, you have to remember a lot of these topics we're talking about. We, Aquarian Tabernacle Church and Children of the Crossroads and what we study, we're Wiccan based. So not every witch is a Wiccan. And I like to try to recognize that these are very Wiccan kind of tenets that we talk about. So, because I always like to go on the more like controversial side, get the conversation going. So what do you think about the witches that use hexing to protect?
Well, like hex signs and stuff like that to keep energy out. As long as, so I don't think it's wise to attempt to hurt someone else, but to disrupt their energy from coming into yours, absolutely. I much prefer you swing at me, I knock your fist out of the way, and then, you swing at me again, I knock your fist out of the way.
Yeah.
Until you get tired of swinging at me, and then we can talk about it. That's what I prefer. Now, sometimes people won't stop at that, and then, we go beyond protection. And
but I always learned that a witch has the right to protect themselves and their family from any harm that will come their way. And there's sometimes people loosely interpret that as maybe hurting someone to stop them, or doing something that they don't mean to hurt them, but we talk about intent. The intent, we have to have that intent very set out precisely.
I think that when you start casting against other people, you have to remember, are you ready to have that done to you? When you decide you're going to put somebody in a freezer, are you ready to be put in a freezer? Because we're all one. And what you do to somebody else is going to be done to you threefold, right?
Yep.
Good or bad. So you got to think about, when you're casting, how's that going to come back on you? And choose something that is positive. Send them on their way in a positive. Have them get a good job and leave the area. Bless them with success so that they will go on. I do not teach or practice harming others. I think that you can bless other people into getting the heck out of your life.
Yep, absolutely. So you should read Dusty's comment, because I don't even know what is it a punji
stick? I don't have the right to dig a punji stick pit in my backyard to kill trespassers. He's saying, those pits that have the sticks in it, you fall in and die.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Yes, you can't dig a moat and put that in front of your yard to keep people from coming into your yard, because that's against the law. It'll hurt them. And so he says he thinks magic should be approached similarly.
Yeah, I like that. That's awesome.
I mean, if we want a better world, we want to have a world where we are kinder to each other. The way to do that is to love people through the tragedies and conflicts of life, and to not attack. Be the change.
Yep. I like Kayla's. Just because we can doesn't mean we should. Be the light that changes them. Oh, that's lovely. I like that.
Yeah.
So what other ways do you find, and I mean, is protection something that we do? I guess we were talking about, we do it in our mundane lives. We do it in our magical lives. We just brought it up, kind of the protection versus, I guess I should have said hexing, but like binding. Is that something that is seen as protection?
Well, yeah, some people, sometimes. Woo, Lola. You got me coughing.
I know. I like to find out what you think about this stuff, because I don't really use binding. I
don't like binding, because you bind those people to you. If I don't want them in my life, I don't bind them to me, because I want them to, like, there's all these terrible things that you can do to people. You can give them, hives.
Oh, yeah.
You can mess people up. You can cause them to lose their job. You can do all kinds of terrible things to people. But I don't think any of that is smart, because all of that's going to come back to you. And you bind somebody, then you're just going to keep bumping up against them in the future, and it's going to continue to be a problem because you've got all of it wrapped up in it.
Yeah.
I find that the best thing that you can do is bless somebody and let them go, forgive them, learn your part of the lesson. What did I do to bring this into my life? What did I do? Well, maybe you didn't do anything to bring it in. Maybe you didn't deserve it, but what can you learn from it? What can you do good with the pain that you have received from this situation, and let go of the blame.
Yeah.
Because we're all immortal beings learning lessons, and these are the ones that you've chosen to learn. And whether you like them or not, they're helping you on your path.
Yep.
So bless the people that learn the lessons with you. Let them go with love. Hope that the next time you see them, that you can hug their neck and be glad to see them. Maybe you won't be able to, but hope you can. And wish them success on their way. Don't cast against folks. If you want to cast for yourself to be out of the situation, to be able to have a different perspective, to be able to learn from the mistake or to learn from the encounter and to grow from it, and cast to remove the negative energy, right? To reduce the pain and the misery for all involved, and to transform it into wisdom. Those are the ways to cast.
Well, first, before I say this part, I like what Dusty put here. Wouldn't any spell that you cast on someone that locks down their energy connect you to them until the spell isn't working on them anymore? Yeah, it would. That's binding. That's what you were saying about binding. Yeah,
absolutely.
I was gonna say, you brought up, to protect yourself, get yourself out of this situation. A lot of us witches like to carry, crystals with us, because for me, when I know I'm going to be dealing with difficult situations or difficult people, I just, my reaction, we sometimes have to protect ourselves from ourselves because it's our reactions that can get us in a situation where we feel it's out of control or it's chaos. And so learning to ground, I think, is a good protection, because it teaches, like, for example, when I take care of my elderly parents, and a lot of times it's very chaotic. It's very, it takes a lot out of me. And so sometimes I'll just bring my crystals with me and ground, and just know that I can't control what they're doing, but I can control how I react. And that is a wonderful protection, right? Yes. I've got a whole box right next to me. I've got crystals all around me. Yeah.
These rocks are probably too heavy. I'm not supposed to pick them up after my surgery. But this one's kind of like an athame. One of the things that we hadn't talked about is our blades, and witches carry knives, you guys. One time we were at a festival, and it was like pre-festival, and so we were all gathered around in my in the canopy tent. It's like the public tent. There's a table in the middle, and we're all hanging out. And somebody comes up, and they act a little bit like, I don't know. We thought maybe they were a policeman or some kind of they were acting weird, and they said something that made somebody uncomfortable. And I looked at and I said, "Hey, look at this knife I just got." And I put my athame out on the table, and then everybody started putting blades on the table. And it was hilarious. And dude went, you know, I don't feel so comfortable all of a sudden. And I said, well, I don't know why. And he left. And it was really funny because we're passing swords and axes and athames and knives, all of these things across the table because you know, witches have blades. It's what we use to protect ourselves with, and we don't cut people with them because, well, most of them are for ritual blades are not used to cut physical things with. They're used to cut spirit with, right? Like and cut between the worlds and things like that. But when you pull out a magical knife, it's still a blade.
It's still a blade.
When you are in the company of witches, they all have blades. You may or may not see them, but there have been times when they're like, you can't come in this ritual without your athame. I mean, you have to take your athame off to come into this ritual. And I didn't have my athame on me, but I didn't want to go anymore because I was like, oh, you know what? I'm good. I'm good. You know? So athames are protection.
Yes, they are. And what about what are some good, you know, we're talking about spells and stuff. What have you found? I mean, I was talking about carrying crystals to ground. Grounding is good protection. But what other things, what other correspondences do you think are really good for protection?
Pen.
The pen?
Pen.
Yeah.
Yes. So a pen, you can always write out whatever it is and, you know, get it out of your head. And that will, sometimes you have, I don't know if you've ever woke up with, you know, fears and stuff like that. You write them down, they're gone, you know.
Oh, that's brilliant.
A banishing pentagram.
Yeah.
If something, Dusty and my daughters used to shoot pinnacles at wasps to knock them out of the air. I have made children leave the room with a banishing pentacle. My son comes in, he's like 3 or 4 and he's sucking his thumb and he walks in the room and I'm in the middle of teaching. So I just, and he went, and he turned around and walked out the door. It was the cutest thing. But banishing pentacles, if you wrap them up, right, and you throw them at something, that will definitely get rid of it. Fans are really good. They're a cutting tool.
Yeah.
Anything that's a tool of air will bring protection to you. And also like whistling, drawing protection symbols in the air.
Yeah. Does anyone else have anything in our I like to say studio audience that they used for protection? Because I'm also thinking of like different kinds of herbs and
smudges.
Smudging and
the morning breath.
The more that protects you from intimacy. Not tonight, honey, or not this morning.
I don't know that that's a magical spell, but you know, it would be effective.
Breath.
But incense, both like skunk magic. Skunk is repels and attracts. A lot of protective magic is attractive and repellent at the same time. Like Dusty always knows if there's something going on with me. If I don't like the smell of sage, he'll be like, "Get out, demon! Somebody's in you. Cast out."
Yeah.
I'm a professional psychic, and I'll get entities attached to me. And I won't like the smell of sage or Palo Santo wood or something like that if he burns it. So incense is protective.
Yeah. I like you know, you've got some earth things too. You're talking about air, earth, like salt. You do your barriers to protect. Like we said, different types of stones. Do people use? This is an actual question because I do people use? What are they called? Is this for protection or is this for the railroad spikes? What is that used for?
What are railroad spikes used for, Daddy?
I mean, it's straight up iron, so anything that would use iron.
Oh, it's iron. It would protect you from fairies.
Definitely. Stop.
Okay, yeah. I've seen that used in some people's craft is the railroad spike.
Well, iron's gonna mess up your energy.
Yeah.
Disrupt for sure.
I like to use and like I said, I was talking about earlier, sometimes we just usually put them in witch's bottle. I was like, what is a itch's bottle? Is this
bottle?
An itchy bottle. Witch's bottles, yes, those are awesome. Those are great. You bury them in your front yard to protect. We put our oh my god, I forget the word. Our not barriers, but oh my gosh, it'll come to me in a minute. But like I said, we have to protect from our reactions too. So I like doing things that calm me, because if I am gonna react, that's gonna cause something. So calming teas. Some people like things to protect them from nightmares. That's a lot of like before sleep kind of protection that you can do. Dusty I have a shield that surrounds me of indestructible glass that when negative energy hits, it sizzles, turns to positive energy, then drips down the glass and returns to the ground. Wow, I like that.
Yeah, so mirror, a lot of people want a mirror shield.
Yeah.
I'm going to send back what's been sent to me. So that's still negative magic, you guys. That's not, you're like, I'm going to return to you what you send to me. Okay, well, I mean, you can be a badass if you want to. However, what they see, people usually don't see that they're sending you negativity. What they see is the bounce back, and it makes them think that you're attacking them and that you need to be attacked back. And so it amplifies. It does not chill the energy. It amplifies the energy. So mirror shields are not your friends. You just want to let that stuff hit the ground. Like Dusty said, just let it melt to the ground and send it to the mother. The mother will recycle it. The dragon, the power of the dragon, which is, I've been sending out dragon presents this go around to our pledge members, because dragons transmute all energy into positive. They eat all energy. It doesn't matter if it's positive or negative. They eat all of it. And so Terry Riley, he's like, somebody cursed him and he went, oh, is that why I'm feeling that extra boost of energy? I was wondering what was feeling so good. You don't have to filter out the negative. You can transmute the negative if that's what you want to do. I am a dragon.
Yeah.
So that is also protection. How are you going to modulate and live in your world? Because it's your magic, and anything you can imagine, you can make reality.
I like how we're bringing up the elements, because we talked about air things. We talked about earth and grounding. Dragons, I think of the fire, transforms that energy into something else. Water. We use water for protection, right? I mean, we cleanse.
Yes, we cleanse.
Yeah.
Get the dirt off.
Yeah.
Yep.
We use all our elements. All our elements can be used for protection.
Yes. Absolutely.
So, we've got about 15 minutes. I like to always, do you want to go and do if somebody got this card in a reading, what would it mean? Moats. Brenna put moats. Yeah, moats, or they are. Do you want to have us go ahead and talk about the image, if we got it in a tarot reading, what that would mean? So everyone that's watching right now, if you got this card today, if you went and were like, I need a 1-card reading, and your tarot reader or oracle guide or whatever pulled this card out, it's going to mean something different to every single one of you, because it's going to provoke something like, oh, what would it mean to you? You guys can type that in the comments. Bella, I'll let you start, because I think last week I started. If you got this card today, what would you think it would mean for you today?
Well, I would say that that person would be having some kind of a psychic attack. Maybe they were, um, maybe they had messed up a spell, or they had crossed over somebody's grave. They had made a misstep somewhere, and they had entities that were not happy with them. And so I would encourage them to be strong and powerful and protect themselves.
But what if you got the card? Like, what if I drew this card for you? What if you were like, Lola, draw me a card, and I pulled this card out?
If you pulled
Yeah.
it for me, if
Yeah.
you pulled it for me, I would go light some candles and make some amends.
Mm.
I'd go say some apologies really quickly. Yeah. And I would ask the spirits what I had done to transgress them in such a way so that I could make appropriate amends. Yeah. That's what I would do.
Kayla put, for me, it still screams I need to work on shielding. Yeah, I've got a lot of energy coming in, and not all of it has been positive. Yeah. So there's a reason why you're watching this conversation today, because you're like, hey, you know what? I need to work on that. For me, I feel like this, for me, today and in particular, would mean, if I got this, I feel like it would mean that I need to be aware of my surroundings and who I surround myself with, because we're getting back. The weather is so nice, right? We're getting back out there. Beltane is in the air. Spring is in the air. But we still need to make sure that we're not just running blindly and being like, everyone's my friend, because we've been longing for that connection, because it was a long, dark winter for a lot of us.
Yes.
And so for me, this means still be aware of your surroundings. Yes, go out and have fun, but be aware of the energy of the different people you're going to be interacting with. Just be aware of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Dusty said, if you pulled it for me, I would assume someone was attacking me, and that I knew who it was, and that I needed to work to turn it from a positive to a negative.
Or a negative to a positive.
Yeah, negative to a positive.
Yeah.
And then Brenna says that this is inspiring her to strengthen her shields and start practicing putting them up every morning again.
There you go. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what this is. Yeah.
Well, you can never do the basics too much. When I was in belly dancing, I went to the basics class, and there were all of these women who were so much better than me. And Carl would say they're intermediate students. They just come and do the basics because you can't do the basics enough. And then when I graduated out, I understood, because everything builds on the basics, and you can extrapolate. Once you've mastered the basics, you can extrapolate in so many different ways. But if you do not stick with the basics, you'll forget, and you'll get stuck in just a couple of patterns, right?
Yep.
You'll be like, I forgot I could use smudge.
Right. Well, I know for us, like us being leaders, and we do a lot of like teaching and leading and organizing and stuff, that we forget sometimes to get back to the basics, or we forget that, sometimes we need to play witch a little more. And for me, I'm like, I don't get to play witch that much. You think I would, but I don't. So these basics are always good for, it doesn't matter what level you are in your craft. It's a nice reminder. It's a nice reminder. We have
Alana Hamilton.
Yeah, it says, my personal space needs observing. The ghosts could be past people and actions that need addressing.
Mm-hmm.
And I got a I don't know if I'm not seeing it. It says Facebook user. I would assume I needed to protect others. And okay, that's Michelle. Okay, for some reason they came through as Facebook user. Now they're saying Michelle Story assumes they need to protect others. What did Dusty put?
I always ask Bella if she is centered and grounded, if she's having any kind of issues energetically. He does.
Yes.
He's like, say your words right. Ground, shield.
Yeah. It's good to have that reminder, because it is. I mean, we're, like I said, we always say this. This is 101 stuff, right? And
you don't realize how much you say that undermines your goals. You know, like even as old as I am, I will still say things. I've been studying magic for, I don't know, 37 years or so. And I will still say things that undermine my goals, right? And you
Mhm.
need other people around you to go, well, don't say it like that. And then I can correct myself. I'd rather be corrected than get the reality that I don't want.
Right? Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yes.
Alana also put, or that the ghosts are my thoughts that I need to take care of. I like that one. That
That's a
because
good one.
yeah, because don't you sometimes feel like it's almost like a 10 of swords kind of thing where you're
Well,
like,
that's the trick about psychic attack. Is it really other people? Or are you just paranoid? Because there are people out there that think that I'm psychically attacking them, and I ain't got time to
mm-mm.
psychically attack anybody. I don't care. I
Yeah,
don't want, I have too much work to do. And when I don't have work to do, I have too many wonderful things in my life that God has just blessed me with to enjoy. And then, I want to watch Yellowstone and stuff like that. I don't have time for that.
yeah,
So sometimes it's the demons in your own mind, and that's important to explore first.
yep. Well, and like I said, I'll keep saying it. Sometimes we just need to protect ourselves from ourselves. I find that is the majority of what happens a lot with why we get a little bit of that chaos or that negative energy. It can just be us doing it to ourselves.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, and red magic. Red magic is the practice of putting out something that's going to make somebody freak out over it, right?
Oh,
Saying,
yeah.
oh, oh, that's an interesting choice of lipstick. That's going to make
Yeah.
me go take my lipstick off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's
Now
red
I'm
magic.
now I'm thinking of my lips. See, like you just got in my head.
Yeah,
You're
your
the
lips are beautiful, just like they always are. You've got a sexy mouth, and I love that color. It matches your shirt.
you sure got a pretty mouth, Bella. All right, now this is
So,
what
Philip
happens.
says, for me, my final prayer of the morning is to Bez. I ask him to protect my space of childlike play and wonder, and to only allow in those challenges necessary for my greatest growth. I like
Ooh,
that. I like
that's
that prayer. Prayer
yeah.
is such a protection. We all of the things that we do, all of the casting and calling and raising energy and all of that stuff, it is moving prayer.
Mhm.
Prayer is powerful. Your words are your wand. If you speak it, you create it. So that is beautiful, Philip.
I
Prayer
love
is
that.
a definite way to protect ourselves.
Absolutely. Yeah. Otherwise, shield and protect me from all other harm and evil today. Yeah. We have to remind ourselves that, as much as we want to be, the universe does provide for us, the goddess does provide for us, but we are going to have challenges. We are going to have things that break in there and try to disrupt our little piece of utopia that we try to create for ourselves. It's not about nothing bad ever happening. That's not what this is about. It's about learning how to, like I like what you said, transmute it into something positive, transmute it into a learning uh uh opportunity, a
You know, if nothing
lesson.
if
Yeah.
nothing bad ever happens to you, you ain't gonna have no good stories at the end of the day. I mean, you guys, the gods prepared a world where nothing bad happened to people, and those people laid on the beach and died because they were bored to death. The
Right.
challenges is what overcoming the challenges is the sweetness.
Yeah.
You were completely prepared to overcome the challenges placed before you.
Yep.
You just got to believe in yourself and grab your kahunas and
Yep.
do the thing. believe you can do it, and all things are possible.
Yes. We just got a time reminder from our producer Izzy because she's amazing. We got a few minutes remaining. Do you want to go ahead and tell people where they can donate and all the things to help the
Yes,
church?
please. I want to thank Isadora for being our StreamYard jockey tonight and making sure that we're all taken care of and everything's good. If you want to make a donation and to continue to see this kind of programming, paypal.me/ATC Wicca. Let us know you love us and you appreciate us. And we are grateful for you spending your time with us today. If you want to go to wiccanseminary.edu, it is a lovely college that will help you on your way to clergy. The first 2 years teaches you magic and how to be a powerful witch. And the second 2 years, your bachelor's degree teaches you how to minister to the public. And there are master's and doctor's levels as well. wiccanseminary.edu. And if you want to get more Lola Stardust in your life, there is Witches and Wine.
Oh yeah, and we've got our Discord channel, which is in the description. If you want to go over to Discord and check it out, we do our Seeker's Path with these images. We're going to talk about protection on Wednesday. We do Witches and Wine. We do daily devotionals. We're all in this together and helping each other out. And I just saw Denise Cochran, Cape Wind, which I have not seen forever.
Oh my God, Cape Wind! Oh, hey, we love you. Yes.
I think protection comes in many forms and lessons, but being in the moment, that you're in a good place to see things more clearly. Great chat, ladies. Nice to hear you. And happy Beltane.
Oh, my heart. Yay. I have swim in her pool and eaten her spaghetti and stayed at her house in Cape Wind. Dusty and I love you. We were just talking about you the other day.
I always mention Cape to all of my witchy friends. That Cape was one of my mentors, and I love her dearly. And so this was really sweet to see her.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you, Bella.
You are so welcome. What a wonderful day. And it's always a pleasure to share wisdom with you, Lola. I just enjoy you so much.
I enjoy you too. I think this is our natural habitat, is just sharing information and making each other laugh. I think it's good.
I do too. Please join us next week at 5:00 and we will work on what's next, Lola.
I think we have, hold on, I've got it coming. It is the Athame.
Ooh, the Athame. We'll explore the Athame next week. That'll be. All right. Love you much. Walk the web.